Currington and Good Directions. I'm Rodeo Rick. We're headed in a good direction. That's towards the weekend. And this Saturday, there's a show you do not want to miss. It's going to be at the Casper Events Center. Please welcome to the studio Master Magician Aiden Sinclair. Welcome to
Rick,
Casper.
Thank you.
So how do you become a master magician, I guess, first and foremost?
A lot of guys will throw that title around pretty quickly. I think generally you have to be a full-time working magician.
Okay.
You know, that is your trade and stock and your livelihood. That is what you do every day of the week. And it also means that you've been doing it for quite a long time, and you've probably taught others. I think that's always kind of the schedule between an apprentice and a master. Whether you are being taught or that you teach others, I think is kind of the qualifier. The trick is whether or not you teach others well, I guess, is kind of the thing. But I think that's what it comes down to for some folks, you know.
So for folks who love magic, who love mentalism, that seems to be the new thing now.
It
is
is.
mentalism. What's the difference between magic and mentalism?
Mentalism is really more cerebral. The tricks are not so much done physically with you know, playing cards and rabbits out of hats. It's more about the imagination, what's in the mind. And there's lots of different takes on it. You know, there's anything from metal bending, like the you know, your old Uri Geller style of bending spoons and forks, to you know, what are you thinking right now, kind of type stuff. I like to combine the two together as much as possible. The cool thing about it to me is that mentalism is one of those things. Is that I think when you tell someone you're going to do a magic trick, there's a certain preconceived notion in the modern audience of maybe something sparkly from Vegas or something from a kid's birthday party. You know, it's just kind of, it brings up all these kind of different images in the mind.
Okay.
And none of them are really amazing anymore to a lot of folks. They see the woman sawn in half, and when you say magic trick or you do a magic trick, it's so often quick run to YouTube and figure it out. Mentalism, however, is a little bit more real for people. It's because you can't. How do you know what someone's going to say? How do you know what someone's going to think? You know, there is no YouTube explanation for that. It's just there. It happened, and it's very personal, because there's no more special place than your own imagination, your own mind. So if somebody can delve in there and pull something out, it's pretty neat.
It's very cool. I've seen several people who can do that, who can work with an audience and go, all right, you're thinking of a number, and inside this envelope that's been sealed since the beginning of the trick is a number, and it's like, wow, how'd you get to that point? So I'm not going to ask you to reveal anything like that, because you've got a big show, 2 shows, as a matter of fact, coming up this weekend. Let's talk a little bit about this. Your show is from a very, very dark place. It's called From a Padded Room. Tell us a little bit about the show and how it came about.
It is not at all a traditional magic show. In fact, it's not even a traditional mentalism show, because there isn't even that think of a number kind of thing. People that have experienced it, the best kind of explanation they've had for it is a cross, I suppose, between a very empathic personal experience and remote viewing. Basically, we're going to talk about an asylum that existed in London. It was built in 1851. It was the largest lunatic asylum in the world when it was made. And it was this completely self-sufficient place. It had its own dairy farm.
Wow.
It had room for 3,500 patients and over 100 padded cells. And the reason this became a subject matter for us was that we were approached by a group called the Battered Bride Project out of Cheyenne, and a tremendous artist down there named Forrest King. He painted a painting which is titled The Battered Bride, and their goal is to raise awareness and funds for victims of domestic violence and the operation of safe houses. And we were approached just to go do some magic with them. And I really thought about this and, you know, realized that, you know, when you do magic for people, it takes people away from reality.
True.
And this is a part of reality that I think you need to be brought to, because domestic violence is one of those things we all know about, but we don't really talk about. It's always, you know, somebody else's problem. It's in somebody else's house. And there's a lot of people out there that are in need, that are in really bad situations and don't even know that there's places that they can go, that they have an escape. So I figured if we were going to do a show for this, that it needed to be topical, and it needed to bring people to the topic and not divorce them from it, so to speak. So Colney Hatch, this lunatic asylum, became the catalyst. It's this amazing place, and then we found out that 75% of its occupants were women. which makes you immediately go, what, were women in England more crazy than guys? And I'm sure there's female there's lots of different
Don't
opinions.
get me started about that. I'm just kidding.
But the end result was we started to look at it and we were like, why is that? Why was the population so high? Why was the ratio so disparate? And then we found out that under English law that it was really easy for a guy to have his wife committed.
Okay.
It was cheaper than divorce. All a guy really needed was 2 signatures. If one of his friends was a physician, that's all you needed was 2 witnesses to sign on a piece of paper as long as one was a doctor that could say that she was mentally unstable. She was committed.
Wow.
And the bill for the asylum was a whole lot cheaper than paying the bill for a divorce.
I'll bet.
So it was kind of a place of abandonment. So a lot of people that had absolutely no mental illness whatsoever ended up there. A lot of women were abandoned there, which in its own way was, you would think, by itself, just leaving somebody someplace is its own form of domestic violence. But imagine leaving someone in a place where, during the time, psychiatric therapy was brand new. You had procedures like prefrontal lobotomies or lobotomies, electroshock treatment.
Yep.
All of that, once you were committed, you were a ward to the state. So the physicians there got to use these people as test subjects.
Guinea pigs.
Very much so.
Yeah.
It was really dark stuff. I mean, they did this stuff without anesthetic in a lot of cases, and a lot of people that, like a lobotomy, they didn't really know. They would drill a hole in the skull and put a piece of metal in there and kind of swirl it around, and whatever happened, happened. And that was supposed to cure you, but it usually killed a lot of people.
Wow.
So it's dark. It's very, very dark material. What we came across was some patient registries from this actual place. They are from the 1930s, and it is literally just books full of people who were interned there. We have a few of those, and then we also have a internment record from the cemetery in which patients from Colney Hatch were buried in.
Okay.
So that is our show, is we basically hand out these books into the audience and let people choose. They try to find some patient in that book that they could associate with. And then they take a little mental journey back in time. They actually go back and we'll ask them to just visualize being that person. What would it be like to be that person? And it might be a guy, it might be a girl.
Okay.
And this isn't to say that everybody that went there was, wrongly interned there. Some of the people who were suspected of being Jack the Ripper, 2 of these guys were interned there. If you were a serial killer, that's probably where you ended up. People who did some pretty bad things ended up there.
Wow.
So it's you might pick somebody out of this book who was a really bad person, or you might pick somebody out of this book who was just an innocent person that ended up in the wrong place.
Just a bad situation,
Very much so.
bad place and time. So this is from the show coming up this Saturday called From a Padded Room. We're speaking with Master Magician Aiden Sinclair. This is absolutely fascinating. How you've gone back in time and you've created a show around this. Plus, this is also a fundraiser for a great charity here in Casper, the Self-Help Center, which is a safe house for domestic violence, which we've been speaking about, not only from a different time period, but also you're going to link the two and bring people right back
Very much so.
to here and now.
Very much so. I'd say there's things change, over time. A lot of people after the show ask us, how long did this, institution even exist? Because they look at the website and they'll see videos of, where it says 1851, this place was built. This place didn't close until 1993.
Really?
Yeah. So it's
wow.
it's pretty amazing. But the reason it closed, though, had nothing to do with finances. It wasn't that it wasn't making money. It closed because of social advocacy. A lot of these people who got institutionalized, they had families, they had friends, and those people started to speak up. And over time, it took a long time, but over time, it is a really great statement for what just a normal person can do by raising their voice and speaking out against something that is inherently wrong.
Especially in this day and age when we've got technology at our fingertips that we can spread a message around the world.
Very much so. And it's a very empathic kind of experience for folks to come to the show because you're actually... I think if you have a good imagination, you can sit in this room, and the next thing you know is you're in London in the 1930s, and you can actually see things as if you were truly there.
So looking forward to this show. The show has 2 runs on Saturday. Your first show is at
7 p.m.,
Okay.
and the second is at 9, and we're going to be at the Casper Events Center. I believe it's upstairs in the Springs room there.
Yep.
The Trails room.
You'll be directed once you arrive at the Casper Events Center, walk in the normal ticket doors. They'll guide you back in to the area for the show.
I think actually they want us to go into the back lot.
Okay.
It's the back entrance is a more efficient way to get to these rooms.
That is true.
What they're telling us.
Okay. So in that case, drive all the way around to the back side of the Casper Events Center there. Excuse me, where they load in all the dirt for the rodeos, and they roll in all the sod for the indoor football games when the cavalry are there, and they bring in all the stage equipment. So that's the area you want to go into.
Yeah, that's Magician's back door always. That's the way they
shady.
It's just dodgy that way. That's what they do with us.
Can you hang out for a little bit?
Absolutely, man.
Okay. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk with Master Magician Aiden Sinclair some more about his show coming up this Saturday called A Padded Room, From a Padded Room. You can get more details about this show now at mycountry955.com. We've also got some VIP tickets for the show. You can take your shot at winning that. But we're also going to videotape what's about to happen next. We're going to do a couple of mentalist or magic tricks, whatever Mr. Sinclair here decides he wants to put me through.
We will just call them paranormal illusions.
There you go. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of those, and then we'll post everything up at mycountry955.com here this afternoon. So stick around when we come back more with Master Magician Aiden Sinclair as we get ready for his big show on Saturday from a padded room with My Country 95.5.